Let's hope this is scary in a good way. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my first impressions reaction to Haunted Hotel. So this is a donation reward, first impressions, for Venom. So thank you for donating, Venom. And you wanted me to check this out. So I had seen like one trailer for this. I don't know how many trailers were released, but I saw one trailer, and it looked pretty bad if I'm being completely honest. I don't remember all the details about it, but I think it's like a family inherits a haunted hotel, something like that. And then like it's just a setting and a like, focus for a standard terrible ad- adult sitcom, animated sitcom. And I use the air quotes and everything because a lot of these adult shows, a lot of these adult animated shows specifically, are so immature and childish. It's stupid calling them adult. They don't actually tackle mature subjects, and they're just an excuse to be as vulgar and crass as possible. It's stupid. And based on the trailer, I would put this more in line with the likes of Rick and Morty than, say, Family Guy and that kind of stuff. But that's still not a good thing. Rick and Morty is one of those shows that tries to have something to say, that pretends to be smart, but in reality is just blowing hot air while, again, just having an excuse to be as crass as possible. And I couldn't buy into it. I tried to give Rick and Morty a chance. I couldn't buy into it. It just was not good, in my opinion. And so I would also kind of put this on the same level as, what was that one show, Inside Job? A lot of people were apparently upset that that got canceled. Didn't bother me much because, honestly, I really didn't like it. I thought it was, again, a bad show. And so, like, I feel for the people who did really enjoy it and who, like, really hated that it got canceled. And honestly, I feel for the creators too, because it's like the people who put all this work into it, it's like their work is kind of invalidated when a show is canceled like that. But I can't say that I feel sad that the show was canceled in and of itself. Because again, I didn't like the show. So just to specify that. But I'm willing to give anything a shot. I'm willing to give anything a fair shake. And I'm just hoping that this proves me wrong. But honestly, I really don't have hopes for it. I really don't. Like, I don't expect this to be like a Has-Been Hotel or a Hell of a Boss, where it's like an actual good adult animated series that, is much, much more than just the crass humor and whatnot. I don't expect it to be something like that. And so, yeah, I'm just going in hoping for the best, but prepared for the worst. I think that's the best way to put it. I don't feel like I'm going to be let down by this show if it ends up not being good to me. But I will be pleasantly surprised if I end up enjoying it. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to give it a fair chance here. We're going to check out this first episode and see what it has in store for us. And just hope it's at least passable. So let's get into this and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'll give you one thing. This was surprisingly not very vulgar and crass. It really didn't go that route. It wasn't like making these like super immature adult jokes, which basically just amounts to swearing and being offensive all the time. It wasn't doing that. And I will give it full credit for that. But I'm going to be honest with you right off the board. I thought this was boring as fuck. I don't know what it is about, like, the writing, the delivery, everything about it. I found nothing in this interesting. I found nothing about this entertaining to watch. It wasn't offensive. I'll give it that. It's not a Family Guy. It's not an American Dad. It's not a Rick and Morty. It's not anything like those, actually. And I will give all the credit in the world for that. But at the same time, I didn't find a reason to care. That's my biggest issue. Like, I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about the characters. And I think the issue for me was that it just kind of went into it without any explanation. And it was so exposition heavy and was just telling you everything in a very unnatural way. Like, there's a way to do exposition well to where it feels natural, it feels believable. I'll go back to Has Been Hotel. Because, you know, that's another adult animated series about demons in a hotel with Keith David. Weirdly feels like a bit of a rip-off, but, I mean, it's nothing alike, obviously. But it just feels weird that it's you can say that and mean two different shows. Anyway, at the very beginning of episode 1 of Has Been Hotel, it exposits information through this book that Charlie is reading. Charlie is reading a book that, or her diary maybe, I guess it's not 100% clear, but it tells the history of Lucifer and Lilith and how they came to be in hell and everything. And that's a good way to do exposition. Having a character, first of all, at the beginning of the first episode, having a character reading a book that exposits that information to us through that is a smarter way to handle it than just having characters say it to each other. Having characters just randomly speak this stuff to each other feels unnatural. For example, the revelation that the brother, Will Forte's character, was a ghost would have been better revealed just by showing it. Because, like, before it's revealed, we don't know this. And then I believe it's him who says it. And right after, he, like, floats up through the phone and everything. I think it would have been better if he didn't say it and he just floated up through the phone to reveal it. It would have felt more natural, would have felt more believable. Instead, you're just told the information before you even get a chance to see it. Before you even get a chance to see any believable proof of that. And I feel like it should be the other way around. I just feel like a lot of this was like that. It just told us everything. This series does not understand the concept of show don't tell. It's going by the worst concept of tell everything instead of showing it. Um, I don't care about any of the characters. It's not even that I don't like them. It's I don't care about them. I have no interest in them whatsoever. I don't remember any of their names except Abaddon. And I only remember Abaddon's name because it's like, a classic demon name. Abaddon is entirely one note and boring. In fact, they all are, honestly. Like, the brother is just neurotic. The sister, who's also the mother of the kids, is, just overbearing and, like, rule loving and stuff. It's, like, very stereotypically so. The sister, the kid sister, I have to specify that. The daughter, I guess. The daughter is a black magic loving troublemaker. The son is a nerd, I guess. And it's like they're all one note characters with no depth to them whatsoever. I just don't give a shit. Maybe the best moment was the conversation between Abaddon and the other demon, Moros or Mortos or whatever. Keith David. That was probably the only good moment in this episode. The only one that even had a little whiff of humor to it. Because that's another thing. This is clearly supposed to be a comedy. It's not funny. Nothing about it is funny. Like, it's just not funny. Not to mention you have, like, the son having who is admittedly 13, having a really weird relationship with this ghost who died as an adult and is now also, hundreds of years old, technically speaking. So no matter how you look at it, it's fucking weird and pedophilic, and I can't get behind that. Like, you can do some weird stuff in animation for the sake of, like, comedy and satire, but the way it's handled here is just not good. It doesn't feel like satire in the way it's handled. It's just comedy. Because comedy is not satire. All satire is comedy, not all comedy is satire. This just feels like comedy without the satire. And because of that, it feels very weird. It feels very uncomfortable. None of the other ghosts are interesting. They're all stereotypes. They are all stereotypical ghosts. Like, even the candle guy, like, you've seen that kind of ghost character so many times. Sometimes they don't even have to be a ghost, but you've seen that kind of character so many times. And it's just boring. There's nothing to it. And this is, like, I think 10 episodes long, which is pretty standard nowadays. I don't see much potential in this either. Because this episode didn't make me feel anything. Like I said before, it just kind of goes. It doesn't give you any, like, build-up, any setup, any character work to really get you invested in things. It's just the plot is moving without any level of like, again, setup for that. Usually you want your first episode to introduce everything, to allow the viewers to understand what's going on, understand the characters, and this doesn't do that. This doesn't feel like a first episode. It feels like you're starting in the middle of something. And there is only one show I have ever seen be able to make that work. Adventure Time. Adventure Time does the same thing. But Adventure Time's weirdness and wackiness and just blatant insanity somehow makes that work. And even then, Adventure Time is not at its best at the beginning. But that's the only show I have ever seen make it work to where you just start off in the middle of a story. This starts off in the middle of the story and it just exposits information to you to try and help you understand things, but it doesn't work. The voice actors are fine, I guess, for the most part, although I've never really been the biggest fan of Will Forte. I don't think he's funny at all. Like, in terms of his delivery or, acting, I don't think he's funny. I don't know why he keeps being cast in things. He's the Justin Long of voice actors. Like, he's not funny. He's not that good of a voice actor. Why does he keep getting cast in things? And then you have Skylar Gisondo as the son. He's like one of the only other actors I know in this. And he's just like, he's fine, I guess. I don't know if I've heard Skylar Gisondo do much voice acting. I guess in The Quarry that counts, but he also did motion capture for that. Once again, The Quarry is a video game, for those who don't know, that's from the same creator as Until Dawn. It's about werewolves, and it's really good. I love The Quarry. Fantastic game. But yeah, Skylar Gisondo has a smallish part in that. He's not like one of the main characters, but he is good in that. And he was great as Jimmy Olsen in Superman. Yeah, I think he's a good actor. He's not like amazing or anything, but I definitely think he felt kind of wasted here. Like, he didn't really do anything funny. He wasn't really that entertaining. Honestly, he was funnier in Superman. Much funnier in Superman. And that's saying something, because I don't usually like when James Gunn tries to do humor. But yeah. Keith David was fine. I mean, it was a Keith David role. Like, it honestly felt like it was written specifically for him. Which it probably was. So I had no problem with that because, it's Keith David. He's phenomenal. And like I said, that was probably the best part of the episode. But, like, everyone else just feels so, like, flat for me. And it's just, I can't find a reason to care. Again, the weird thing is, I wouldn't say this is, like, bad in the same way that something like Rick and Morty is, or Inside Job, or Family Guy, or American Dad, or any of those other adult animated sitcoms that, are just overly crass and immature for the sake of being so. This isn't bad like those are. It's just so boring and disinteresting. But that in and of itself, in some ways, is almost worse. Like, when something's bad, at least you have an opinion on it. When something is just, like, boring and disinteresting, you just don't care enough to have an opinion on it. Outside of it being boring and disinteresting. And that's the thing. I just did not care about this. I don't find any reason to want to continue. I don't believe that there's anything of value here. And I don't care. So, yeah, I don't think I want to continue this one. I don't think this is for me. Honestly, there's a lot of shows that I don't end up liking that at least there's something to them that I find value in. This isn't one of them. I just, I don't see any appeal to it. I didn't enjoy watching it. And I just have too many issues. So I think at this point it just tracks to not continue. It just feels it would just feel like honestly a waste of my time. So sorry Venom that this is another one that just didn't do it for me. I feel like you put this as a first impression because you maybe kind of had that idea that it wouldn't like do it for me. Um, but yeah, it's just I don't see the appeal at all. Um, to those who enjoy this, have fun with it. Enjoy it all you wish. I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'm just saying that for me, there's nothing of value. And that's my opinion, that's subjective, but with reactions on this channel, I have to take that into account more than anything. So, we will not be continuing this. Honestly, on the channel or on my own time. I have no interest. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear your thoughts, like especially if they differ from mine. Keep in mind that I am always willing to hear dissenting opinions. But I've shared mine, and we'll end this off here. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.